Welcome back to another episode of Beauty, Business, and Mind podcast. So today's episode is very, very special because I think it's really going to tap into the journey of being a business owner and entrepreneur. Today is 2023. It's August, and I have Amy Porterfield in the house, everybody.
Okay, I am loving this. This makes me so happy. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so thankful and grateful to having you here to share with everybody. So I did want to do a little introduction in case, like some of my audience hasn't heard about you. So Amy, she is a New York Times best-selling author with her book, 2 Weeks Notice, as you can see here. Okay. Notice book. Then she has her podcast, which is the Online Marketing Made Easy podcast, which I love to listen to as well. And she is just an online marketing expert, really helping business owners and other entrepreneurs like myself to start an online education system. And I am so excited to have you here, Amy. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
Really talk about the journey of being an entrepreneur. So for our topic for today, I really wanted to for you to share with all of us your wealth of knowledge in your 10 plus years of creating digital courses. What worked and what didn't? I think especially now where we are all in this online space where everything seems so instantaneously, Amazon next day delivery. I think we forget sometimes that it is a journey for some of us and for most of us. So I really wanted to touch into that today if you're open to that.
Absolutely.
And it has been all over everywhere. I remember since January of 2023, people have been talking about AI,
Yes.
ChatGPT. So of course, we had to talk about it today.
We do. We've got to talk about this. So I've done a lot of research on AI, ChatGPT specifically, and I love it. I think that AI is going to help us more efficiently and quickly get our courses up and running. However, you got to be careful how you use it. So what I teach my students is to use ChatGPT as your ultimate course creation assistant. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what type of course you want to create, the topic of the course, what would be good for you. And these are things that I help my students do. But once you get to that point, now you can enter information into the AI tool to get ideas for how to round out your course, what to add to your lessons, what questions to answer, what objections your audience might be having. So never again will you have to look at a blank Google Doc and think, where do I start with my content for my course? In my digital course program, Module 3 teaches people how to outline their digital course. And this is an area where people get stuck. They look at a Google Doc, it's blank, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Now I'm giving my students specific prompts to literally copy and paste into the tool, and it will spit out great ideas depending on what direction you want to go. You just need to be careful not to think that AI is going to create your course for you. You will end up with a watered down, plain, very generic course that will absolutely get lost in the online noise. You will not be a competitive course creator if you do that. But if you come up with the ideas and then ask for feedback and insight, that's a whole different ballgame. So that's what I teach my students to do with AI.
Yeah, I really love that you talk about that because I love how you said it wasn't like an assistant. So
Yeah.
as soon as I started, because I've been playing with ChatGPT, I love it. It's like my brainstorming session. It's not
Same.
really to copy and paste. That when I heard assistant, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can use it like my assistant. And it has been working so well, but I totally 100% agree. I would not recommend I copy and paste it to
No,
read anything.
it's just not there yet. So be careful with that.
Yeah, and with the whole talk of AI, there's also a lot of people that are against it because they're kind of scared that it's going to replace human experts and maybe the needs of educators or even online education is no longer needed because we have AI. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I was on another podcast and a woman was saying, do you think people are going to not buy digital courses anymore and just go to AI to get all the information they need? And I absolutely do not think that's ever going to happen. And here's why. When you learn anything through AI, what it is missing is connection, compassion, engagement, empathy, grit, soul. None of that is in those responses. The nuances of do this and tweak that a little bit and try that, that is not in there. Now, if you take a digital course from someone who's gone before you, they're sharing the good, bad, and ugly. They're sharing all their scabs and what happened to them and how they overcame it. You're hearing their stories. You're hearing their heart. You're getting their personality inside of your training, and their teaching style is something that hopefully you're connecting with and learning a lot faster. It's a whole different world when a human being is sharing their experiences with you and guiding you. Do not use AI as your guide, use it as your assistant. That's a very different distinction right there. And so I have no doubt that AI is not going to replace digital courses. It's just going to help digital course creators be more efficient and faster in getting their content out there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like I do a lot of live Pinterest TV episodes, and for me, it's incredible. Like I talk about the simplest things. Like today, I'm doing an episode for them on curling your hair, having like your curls last longer.
Yeah.
Something that you can Google, but people are so interested to learn from you and have that connection factor. So it's so important that we tap into that. So true.
Absolutely. So you have to be careful. The reason why I teach my students to create original content, put their content out there in a blog or a podcast or a video or a live show like yours, is because you are becoming a go-to source. People need to know, like, and trust you in order to want to buy from you. I have a student and we call her Sarah Sourdough because she has a digital course teaching people how to make sourdough bread, sourdough starters, and beautiful bread recipes. And if you think about it, you could go on YouTube and Google how to make sourdough bread, especially after COVID. It was like one of the most popular things, and you'll get thousands of hits for videos on how to do this. However, why does Sarah make thousands and thousands of dollars with her digital course? They want to learn from her. She's a busy mom. They can relate to her. She's got stories and experiences that they will not get anywhere else. And you want to learn from someone that you connect with. So that's why it's important to build your brand and put out your content so people see you as their go-to source.
So, and talking about source, I know that you have this awesome guide for
Yes.
anybody that wants to use AI. Like, oh, I'm kind of stuck. So, what does the guide really help us with?
So, first in this free guide, I'm going to teach you how to choose your course idea. So, I take you through something called the sweet spot formula. We're going to come up with your first initial course idea. From there, I'm going to give you AI prompts that you can copy and paste and put into your AI tool so that from your idea, now you're going to flesh it out and get ideas and brainstorm how to really build this into a course. So I'm going to help you absolutely get started with your first digital course for free in this guide and use AI to do it quickly.
Awesome. And if you want that free guide, so I made an easy link for you. So
Perfect. I love an easy link.
I know you can just click on it if you want. It's on the show notes. So it's celestastylist.com/AI. You can literally go on there, put your name, download it, and it's free. And it's from Amy, which is like an awesome gift, honestly.
Cool.
Now about our mindfulness or mindset, right? Like so important as being a business owner. Part of being a business owner, right? It's not like when you see a graph, everything just goes straight up to the moon, right? It's like this roller coaster ride. And I would love to like share from your expertise to my audience, what kept you going when you don't see results, or in the beginning when you weren't getting the results that you were seeing your other peers around you, other people get for yourself?
Yeah, so this is a great question. When I was first starting out, I did a course launch and I thought I'd make $100,000 because it looked like everyone on social media was making tons of money. So why not me? So I launched this course and I made a whopping $267. Now, the sad thing is the course was $297, but by the time I backed out just a few $1,000s of expenses, I made $267 profit. I was devastated. I thought it meant I wasn't cut out to be a course creator or I wasn't cut out to be an entrepreneur, period. And I cried for a week, to be quite honest, until my husband said, this needs to stop. You need to get back out there. But in that moment, I was crushed because I thought it should come together so quickly and easily because I thought that's how it did for everybody. First of all, social media is deceiving, and we know that not everybody is as successful as they look. But also, sometimes those hits, those challenges that don't work out as planned, they literally build character and they show you what you're made of. Because instead of going back and groveling for my 9 to 5 job that I had just quit, I thought, I got to fix this. So, what do I need to do? So I learned how to build an audience. I learned how to create a course that was more aligned with my expertise. And I went out and tried it again. The second time I launched it, I made $10,000, which literally was so much money to me at the time, like still is a lot of money. And so I was so excited. And then I continued to do it again and again. Today, I've made over $80 million with digital courses. But imagine if when I made $267, if I made that mean that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't cut out to do this. I wouldn't be here with you today and have the life and the business that I have. So my point is, let those setbacks build you up stronger. Let them pick you up and show you what you're made of. It happens to all of us. I just had a big setback in my business a few weeks ago. I'm 14 years in. It is part of being an entrepreneur. Resiliency is more important than any strategy I could ever teach you. And so I really think when I think, if you want major growth in your life, become an entrepreneur, because there's no way around it. You either grow or you don't actually succeed in your business. So I just wanted to share with everyone that it's very normal for it not to work, whether it be courses or memberships or physical products. There's a point that it's not going to work, and you've just got to stay in the game because it will click if you stick with it. And if you take action every day, you will get more clarity. Action creates clarity. So just keep taking action. It will come together.
I love that you share that. And, hearing like your numbers, like $80 million, okay, you've been on there like 14 years, right? And you kept going, even like after like your first launch where you're like, should I even keep doing this? How did you pivot? Because I think people have such a hard time, especially my industry. I am known for pivot, so that comes easy to me. But I know like a lot of hairstylists and beauty professionals in my industry have a hard time with the pivot part. How did you like move forward with that part? Like most of us get scared, right? Like, oh my goodness, should I change? Is this the right thing to do? How did you find like a little sweet spot to be like, you know what? This is like better fit for me. I'm gonna try it and just do it.
So I love this question because the way I knew to pivot, number one, I pivoted slow. I didn't always change my mind, try something new. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do that now. I did it slow, and I paid attention to what was working and what wasn't. I also paid attention to what felt good to me. If you think about it, if we're going to leave behind a 9 to 5 job, or we're going to do something big like create a course or create a business, we got to enjoy what we're doing. And so if I was doing something that I didn't love or didn't feel good, I wasn't going to go in that direction. I was going to wait until it did feel good and it did feel right. Then I was going to try something new. So my pivots have always been small. Let me show you an example. My first course was how to launch a book with social media. I knew social media well. I'd never launched a book in my life. I did not have the 10% edge. So that was one of the reasons it didn't work. I didn't have expertise in that area. So then I paid attention and thought, okay, that's not my area of expertise. I know social media well. My second course was the social media formula, how to use social media to grow a business. And then when I did that, my students said, we love this, but really we care most about Facebook. Can you create a course about Facebook? My next course was all about Facebook. From there, Facebook marketing with ads. And then from there, I realized everyone's asking me, how are you creating these courses to teach social media? Can you teach me how to create these courses? But this is over 14 years of slow growth and slow pivots. And over probably the last 10 years, I've been locked into digital courses, teaching them. So that's another thing. My secret to success is I stay in my lane. There's 10 things I might be good at that I could go try. And there's other things that like are more exciting to me than always teaching digital courses. We're entrepreneurs. We want variety. But I wanted to be known for something and I wanted to get really good at it. So I teach digital courses year after year after year. I learn new things and I try new things and add boot camps and do exciting things that I haven't done before to challenge myself. But I teach courses and I have for many, many years. And it's why I have a multi-million-dollar business. I don't jump to the next thing really quickly. So something to think about for your listeners who are like, I'm trying to find my thing. slow and steady.
I really love that. You talked about like your whole journey. It wasn't like overnight because we always think,
Mhm.
right? It happened overnight. Like you slow and steady, you tried it out. And like last question before I move on to the next one is like, how do you like tap into your audience? Like say for like someone with a smaller audience, like not everybody's going to be responding to your polls or like,
Right.
answering your questions or replying to your emails. So what would you recommend for somebody that's trying to build their audience at this time?
So one, you have to remember if you have a small audience, you're not going to get tons of engagement. That's just how it's going to be. And there's no magic bullet for building a huge audience fast. And so that's another slow and steady. But when you have a small audience, just know that audience building, list building, building your social media following has to be something that you make a purpose in your business, like top three things that are important to you. You have to be intentional with it. And so you might be putting polls out there, asking for survey, getting feedback, asking for engagement, and you're getting very little, but just continue to nurture and grow that list. Find opportunities for them to sign up for your email list. Make sure that you're showing up regularly. The consistency is everything. One of the most hardest things to do in your business, show up every single week, putting out new content. People will come, but it takes time, and the patience part is why most people don't continue it. They just give up. So those that want to win, just keep going. You'll beat out your competition always.
Yeah, so true. Consistency is key. Like I've seen it throughout the years. I'm like, it has been like my biggest growing tip to everybody is like be consistent. It's not about being the best or the fastest. It's like who can be the most consistent to get that.
Yes.
Love that. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this so much. And I see your dog behind there. I see, hi Scout.
Oh yeah, there's
So
Scout.
cute.
Where he is. He's just taking a little nap. Sometimes people think that it's a rug behind me. Like, what's that rug you've got? It kind of does look like a rug right now. So yeah, it's just Scout. He's always there.
He's so cute. I love him. For right now, with everything, so we've been talking about mindset, and I know you've been going, doing this for a long time, right? So can you share like what's working now and what's no longer working? Like especially, from 2020 now to 2023, it has been such a big shift. I would love to just like learn from you, like what's working and what's no longer working for 2020.
One thing, I love this question because one thing you want to be careful of is that believing everything that you see or hear online, because it is wild how contradictory some of the narrative is. One day I'll see a post about from an expert saying digital courses are dead. Big ticket items or offers are the only thing that's selling right now. Then the next day, another expert will say the things that's really selling online is anything less than $500 because of the economy. And then the next thing you see is AI is the only way to go. And the next thing you see is don't use AI because it's going to be blah, 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 whatever. It's just so many contradictions in whatever we see online. So instead of just buying into all of that, I want you to pay close attention to what's working in your business and what you're seeing in terms of what you engage with. So, for example, years ago, Facebook Live worked really well in my business and those of my students. So we would deliver a lot of content during a launch via Facebook Live. I don't use Facebook Live at all anymore for anything like that because it just doesn't generate the kind of conversion that, let's say, a Zoom Live would actually. Sending people to a Zoom is more powerful today than sending people to a Facebook Live because one, people don't use Facebook like they used to, and two, competing with that news feed while you're live is not ideal. So it's those little nuances that you want to pay attention to, but you really don't know if it will work for you or not unless you try it out for yourself. So that's why I think action creates clarity, a lot of experimentation. But I will say, in my program, I teach how to create a course and then how to launch a course. And I will share exactly what I do in order for it to work in my business and how to apply it to a smaller business with, let's say, a smaller list. And one thing that has worked since day one is webinars. Webinars sell courses. There is no doubt about it. But the way I did webinars 10 years ago versus how I do webinars today, very, very different. For example, I'll show up on video, like I'll show my face on a webinar. You don't have to, but I will. But 10 years ago, they didn't even have technology to do that. It was just slides and audio. So doing what works, but then enhancing it, optimizing it is my secret. That has helped me. I don't tend to subscribe to all the new trends, the fancy things that are working, because they tend to go away. Threads is a great example. Threads came out, the IG,
Yeah.
social media, and it came out, and it's still thriving, I think, but not nearly as much as it was the first month it came out. And so if I jumped on that and said, okay, everyone, we're going to start creating and launching our courses only using Threads, it's the new thing, I'd look like an idiot. So I think slowing down and letting things kind of figure themselves out before you jump on that trend is one of the smartest things I could do in my business and what I teach my students.
Yeah, I really love that you're sharing that you need to look what works for your business, right? Because
Yes.
business is different. And I always feel like we all have our secret sauce and like our like a little magic sauce right in front of us if we just look at the data, like what's working, what our clients are actually booking for or looking for. So I
Yeah.
think it's so important to remember that too. I really love that.
Yeah.
And my last question has to do with mindset and mindfulness because this one really hits home for me because I have been through so much this past years from pivoting and just trying to keep going. And I know you have your stories as well. I listen to your podcast. I'm a member of DCA, which is Digital Course Academy. Amy's the one who taught me to market myself online and do the
Yes, I
webinar.
love it.
Yeah, so that's how I started with all that. But what's the one thing that has kept like helped you keep going in those times that you wanted to quit? Like you really hit the floor because sometimes like we'll see, like I mean, I have your book. Like I can't believe I'm having a podcast with you today. And sometimes we're like, well, it's just me. Nobody else gets it. Like they're in the other realm. They don't know what it is to hit rock bottom. They don't go through hard times. Like, how do you keep going? And also, like, how long did it really take you to hit those first six figures? Because for me, I think it's really important to be also in integrity, which I love and I know that you are. That not everybody's gonna hit those first six figures, like in your first launch or your first year. And I love how you have been sharing throughout the podcast today your true journey of how you got to be such a successful, like entrepreneur that you are today.
Yeah, so I definitely have had some big setbacks along the way in my business. And so when I first went out on my own, I left a job with Tony Robbins and went out on my own. And all I wanted to do that first year was replace my salary. So I did hit six figures the first year because my big goal was I just got to replace the salary. The challenge was that I was taking clients and I was doing people's social media, like small businesses' social media. So I might have hit those first six figures that first year. I was miserable. And then I was scared to change my business model, even though I hated doing social media for small businesses. So I went into my second year continuing to do that. In my second year, I made less money than I made my first year. And the reason for that is I didn't like what I was doing. I was working more hours than I did at corporate, which I didn't even think was possible. And about halfway through my second year, I thought this is not working. And that's when I started to create digital courses instead. And because I wasn't successful right out of the gate, I made less money. And so I made a lot of money, less money. It took a few years. I left in 2010. By 2013, I was really thriving, but it took a few years to actually get going. But along the way, I won't get into too many details. I tell this story in the book, but I took on a business partner. I literally gave somebody 50% of my business like overnight, which was insane of me to do. It had everything to do with my insecurities and scared that I wouldn't be able to do this alone. And the partnership was great for a few years, and then it wasn't. And it was really hard to get out of it. And I thought I'd have to dissolve my business and start over because of the mistake I made about getting into the partnership. Thank God I didn't. And I tell this story in the book, but that could have just flattened me. Like it could have made me believe that I was literally not cut out for this. And so just know that my challenges might be different than yours. I might not have the same kind of issues, but we all struggle to get our businesses off the ground in different ways, from people not believing in us, not having a support system, not having enough money to invest. I mean, it goes in so many different ways. But you got to ask yourself, how bad do I want it? For me, all I wanted more than anything in the world was freedom. I didn't want to be told what to do, when to do it, or how to do it. And I was really tired of having a male boss. I didn't want it anymore. As wonderful as Tony Robbins was, I didn't want a boss anymore. And so that drove me. So when things didn't work out, when I got knocked down, when I was in a partnership I shouldn't have been in, I just thought to myself, I've got to figure this out because I do not want to be someone's employee. And so you have to get clear on your why. When your worries knock you down, your why will pick you back up if your why is strong enough. So your why doesn't have to be about changing the world or helping millions of people. It could be as simple as, I don't want a boss. Whatever it is that will get you out of bed in the morning and keep you going when things get hard, get clear on your why so that you'll keep going.
I really love that, Amy. And so lastly, for somebody who's like right now, like struggling and trying to keep going, like what are some like helpful tools that have helped you during those times? Because I know sometimes like when it happened to me, I was like, how am I going to continue to show up? Like I don't even have the energy or like, bandwidth. I don't have a team to go show up for me,
Yes.
What are some helpful tools for that?
Okay, so number one is that you've got to find your business bestie. And I think this is important. It's not easy to make friends when we're, in our 30s and 40s is not the easiest thing to do. But one of the things that has gotten me through some of my hardest times is that I've had a few people on speed dial. I remember when I was going through that partnership breakup, I literally cried every day. I was devastated and I had a lot of shame around making decisions that could have literally flattened my business. But I had a few people that were in my ear every day, checking in on me, making sure I was okay. And I had fostered those relationships so that they delivered when I needed them the most. So go out of your way to make friends with people that are also building businesses. The friends you had from high school will never understand what you're doing. They will think you have lost your mind.
Mhm.
But the friends that are also building businesses will absolutely get you. So I've got two girlfriends that I talk to every single day via voice text, not on the phone, let's not get crazy, but via voice text on the phone. And it's just my lifeline. And so that is everything. So find your business besties, make an effort. They won't find you, you have to find them and really pour into those friendships. I think the second thing is I am always looking out for my mental health and wellness. I struggle from depression and anxiety. I have since I was really young. And so I know that every day I need to move my body. I don't like to work out, but I know I've got to move my body for my mental health. I know that I need to see a therapist when things get a little bit too rough for me. I know that I need to slow down, take naps, meditate, take care of myself beyond anything else. So I've got these little things that work for me. And the goal here is you finding your things that work for you. It might not be meditation or taking naps or whatever, but what will help you with your mental health. Your mental health is important, more important than any strategy I could teach. So finding your routine is really important.
And I love that you say that because I suffer from anxiety. I have to like walk. I go on little walks. I talk to my
Yes.
therapist too, and I talked about it in the podcast. It's just really important to keep me going and my mental health really strong. So I love that you're touching on that. So thank you so much for being so open. And
Yeah.
I know I've heard through the grapevine that you have a boot camp coming up. So can you
I
tell me about
do. Okay, so I'm so excited about this. Once a year, I do a boot camp, and it's for anybody who wants to see if courses are right for them, see what it takes to get started, jumpstart their journey. So it's $49, one of the cheapest things I offer in the year. And I'm live teaching in this boot camp. It's in a private group. I'm live every day teaching how to get started, how to come up with a course idea that will be profitable, how to validate it to make sure you don't create something that no one will buy, how to choose what type of course to create, how to price it, how to use AI to get started. Like I'm teaching all the let's get started strategies for your digital course. And there's a lot of accountability. You can ask me questions. It's really interactive. I do it once a year. It's coming up starting September 13th. So you don't have a lot of time, but you got to get in it because this is something you don't want to miss. I get the best feedback from my boot camp.
I love that. And if somebody already has like tried to do a course before but hasn't worked out well, is this like a good boot camp to take with you and to get more support on there?
Yes, absolutely. I've got a lot of people who have launched before. They weren't happy with the results. They learned my method of launching and they've been able to triple their launches since then. I've got tons of stories like that. So, yes, if you want to kind of start over, reevaluate, see what you might have missed, this is a great place to start.
Amy, I want to say thank you so much for making one of my manifestation checklists.
Yes, I love it.
Also, you probably don't know this, and if you're watching this live, so I am part of your DEI committee, so diversity, equity.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. Thank you for that.
Thank you for allowing all of us. So I am part of Amy's launch team, and it was so beautiful. We all got the same opportunity to be part of the podcast, to have her come into our podcast and interview Amy. And I got in. So
It was so meant to be. So
it
I'm
was.
so glad you did. And thank you for helping shape my business to be more diverse and inclusive. Like it's a very big initiative for us. So thank you for giving your feedback because we take it all very seriously. So that was really fun to hear. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you really do. Like you really take into like account, and I see the changes happening, and I'm so grateful and thankful for you for that. And to all my Latinas, we can make things happen, okay?
Yes, I love it.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, my friend. Take care.
You too. Bye, Amy.